Hello and welcome to the DFS_PhD show for another Manic Monday, September 30th. Remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money. Might as well be us. And look at that. Another winner's circle. Baseball out of nowhere. Don't know what that was about. Obviously, that's full credit to SaberSim again. Look at this DeGrom on a pitch count. Now, granted, did he go to his pitch count? Did he go? No, 22 pitches short. Would I have liked him to throw those 22 pitches? 50,000? Yes. 50,000 reasons I would have liked that. All right. As always, before I get to this screen, we are sponsored by PredictionStrike. You can use promo code PhD to get their best deposit match bonus. Another painful week for me, picking the wrong guys in UFC, but that's what, that's why you do it. Try to pick them right. But obviously, if you keep picking losers, you are going to lose. Okay, so I guess I got a couple takes today, but none of them are great. I mean, like none of them are, I got some rules. Start with the rules. Chig or Whyle, don't know who's going to be the tight end one. Laporta or Brock, don't know who's going to be the tight end one. People like check out the tight end ownerships today. It's just nuts to me. Like these guys are not that good. We got Noah Fant, 36%. Sam Laporta, 26.6%. So, I mean, Laporta's definitely out there most of the game, right? Let's check it out. So Laporta, Detroit. Thought I had this up. Laporta, 2 targets. Brock Wright, 5 targets. Let's check out like snap counts, right? Do I have well, I guess I'll just do snap counts, same team. Oh wow. 70% Brock Wright, 63% Laporta. So that was 150% two tight end sets. So you don't necessarily have to make a rule if you don't want to about Brock Wright and Laporta. I'm just trying to point out I don't know what that was, but Brock Wright is like big parts of this plan. And similarly, I didn't know what was the other point I had made here. Yeah, Julian Hill, very much part of the plan. Julian Hill, arguably tight end one on this team, had the most snaps last week. Is that reflected in anything? Number one, it's reflected in his targets, two, two, and one, getting consistent targets. He's like min price unowned. So, and another thing to point out, targets for Miami are changing, right? Like Tua was, I mean, like not great, but good quarterback, can throw the ball like some distance, right? Skyler, not as much, and we're getting like even worse now. Like the guys are step down as they get hurt. And so as they get hurt, that's a step down and a step in, right? Like they can't throw as far. So now they're throwing more to tight ends, and you see that. They're like week one, if you look at they got 19 targets to tight end or to wide receivers and 6 to regular guys. Last 2 weeks, we're averaging 16 to wide receivers, and we're talking almost 10. Is it more than 10? No, just 10 to tight ends. Tight ends are getting almost the same opportunity on Miami now as the wide receivers. So number one, bad for Tyreek Hill. Obviously, this is bad for Tyreek Hill, but it's bad. It's so bad for Tyreek Hill. Like you don't even like the whole offense can key in on just Tyreek Hill. It's a little bad for Waddle, but I don't know. They can still hit those routes at least. Like you could still ping him 5 or 10 times on those little crossing routes. So I'm not crossing off any of them, but I am pointing out I think the Fields ownership here in all. So I'm going to go over, by the way, classic showdowns, etc. That's like 6K, 6 figures up for everything. So I might as well pay attention to it all. And ownership for Laporta, 26%. Ownership for Brock Wright, 2.6%. It's like 1/10. So guess which team I'm going to be? It's team, the guy who's out there more, who also is running more routes and also getting more targets, who is also unowned. So I mean, like, I'm not going to get to Sam Laporta today just by virtue of what are you doing? What are 26% of you doing? Like, yeah, he could catch a touchdown and pay it off, but if he doesn't, I mean, I have a lot of them in best ball. I hope it pans out for us, but it not look good, fellas. It not look good. Okay, so then let's go over to yes, Fant is also thin, guys. Like he didn't get that many. Anyway, so tight end is so thin today that I say play whoever you want. And I've got a lot of guys to pitch you on. So here are my guys. You already heard me pitch you on Julian Hill. He's in this player pool. We'll get to him on Showdown a little bit more. But really, Wiley is definitely like number one, 15% owned already. People are aware. that he got tight end one work last week, so that's fine. But Brock Wright did too, and is not being respected the same way. Durham Smythe, I don't think 10% is necessarily fine. I mean, John, I think has a little higher upside. I built in a rule here. What was it? Yeah. No. No, I think you can play multiples of these together if you want because they're so low priced. Like some of these guys are below, they're like actual min price, right? John Wiley is 2,500 and possible tight end one here. So forget, yeah, forget that 25% cap. We're going Wiley can be 30%, Wiley can be 40%. Wiley's a great play at min price. I didn't realize he was actual stone cold min. That's absurd. Yeah, we'll get to zero Laporta. That's totally fine. This is all main slate talk, obviously. Okay, so main slate, we're jamming Achane, absolutely jamming Achane. We're absolutely jamming Amon Ra. We're absolutely jamming Jackson. And then we got rules. So I'm not sure. I think that the field is, look at this. Charbonnet being 1.7% tomorrow. Oh, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, okay. It could be the case that they go back to the way things were before. But Charbonnet did pretty well. And Kyle Walker Kenneth Walker. I was like, I better double check that first name. I'm not so sure about. Kenneth Walker is pretty bad at and like aging and like getting injuries. I don't know if we're gonna go back to bell cow Kenneth Walker situation. I'm obviously 60% seems now that I'm saying that. Yeah, I think I'm about 40% sure that we go back to bell cow Kenneth Walker. We get to a little bit more Chig. Let's see. Or a little bit more Charb. I'm limiting Charb at 20% right now. I think it's like a 25% chance that Charbonnet is still allowed to be the number one. Now, I don't want 50% Brock Wright. That's getting a little bit rich. 30% is fine. He's just a great play. Overall, my Wiley numbers, okay, 30%, something like that. I'll be more than double the field. It's a great play. 35%, 40%. I don't really understand it. Anytime there's a thing that coach did that I don't understand, I assume they're going to do it again until they show me that they changed their mind about it. Because I don't get it. I mean, like, I'm not trying to say I get what's going on here. I like Chig. I have Chig in best ball. I think he runs good, solid mid to long routes. Maybe they're just running. I don't get why Wiley is getting so much work, but he is, and he's in the mix. I don't get John Mayer Gibbs. A lot of people I respect are on him in the industry. These are 50-50 backs, him and Montgomery. So I'll go with the one. I mean, like, you don't have to choose one, number one. I'm not forcing a choice. Am I? You don't have to force a choice. I am forcing a choice. I'm not forcing all of these rules in Showdown as well. Think about carefully if you think the rule is a classic rule or a Showdown rule or both. We'll get to the Showdown rules, but I do think you have to for split backs, make a choice in classic. It's not guaranteed you do. Like I think I considered doing it on underdog once or twice where you take both Gibbs and Montgomery or something. But dicey, right? Like it requires value to be very thin for you to do that. And I think we have enough value I just described with the tight ends. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to play a bunch of crazy tight ends. And if you hear a Brock Wright touchdown, if you hear a Josh Wiley touchdown, if you hear a who's the other guys? Oh, right. The other case there's been some scuttlebutt that Ty J. Spears may get more work, and also the game script favors the passing down back there. So I bumped Ty J. Spears above his projection and added a rule for max one Tennessee running back. That's why. Pretty clear there, I think. Okay, I did all I needed to do here. I lowered Pollard too, but the same thing. I don't want to jam running backs who are highly owned and in a known split backfield. So guys who I am off today just by virtue of that, number all of the running backs, leverage negative, 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 negative. But it's Montgomery's in a split backfield. Pollard, Gibbs, these guys should not be the highest owned guys. Achane, yes, jam him everywhere. Beyond that, who cares? You have to play one. That's all I can say. Okay. Get my I don't know if I've been off screen with my actual okay. I think that's all I got to say. All the defenses obviously it's too small of a slate. Salary wise, 49 to 50. Let's look at median salary if I can get that out there. Where's that? Aggregate metrics. Average salary. Let's go median salary. Median salary 49.8. So we're almost using all of our salary in most of our lineups. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, so that's gonna do us for this. I like everything I'm seeing here. I like everything I'm seeing here, and that's how we do it on money. So we'll put that very quickly in the actual competition just so I don't forget to do it. You may have gathered that I did forget to do it at some point recently, and that's why I do it on camera now. But yes, I did forget to do this one time recently. I was like, what are all these ownerships? These seem like my default template that I didn't mean to be the real one. Okay, so now on to the early showdown, which I do remember. Yes, I've already ROI sorted and uploaded this one, I think. Yeah, so same general thing going on here. Let's look at it. Guess who we're gonna play? It's a lot of Achane. And it's going to be a lot of these weird guys. Oh yeah, that's the other guy who's like not as in play because he's priced reasonably on Classic, but is just the nuts on Showdown. We got a couple of those guys. Let's bring them up to the top. Alec Ingold, Durham Smythe. So number one, Alec Ingold, just incredible play. Just an incredible play. I've already, yeah, I've put it in the Discord about playing his alts. What's going on? What happened? Did we not watch the game? It's just like with Yuxic, and then recently there was another guy out of the backfield who almost hit something. Anyway, he's going to run those fun out of the backfield routes. He is the third down back with this offense. They're not going to be 100% Achane. They are not going to be 100% Achane. He should not be 1.6% owned in the flex on the showdown. That's nuts. So I'm going to 30%. I'm going to 20x the field because number one, I think y'all are smarter than that. I don't really think he'll be 1.6%. But if he is, I mean, like, I don't know if this holds up. I may have to make some updates because I gotta be heavy Ingold. He is almost min price here, guys, and he shouldn't be. He's gonna run a bunch of routes, right? Like, well, he got targets. How many targets are we talking for this rando? You know, he's super important to this team, is what I'm getting at right now. 3 targets last week. He was getting targets even when there was more people in this offense. Don't think Jalen Wright's gonna like crowd him out just because like he's okay. He's like arguably the wide receiver. I mean, wide receiver one. He's getting a lot of snaps, 40% snaps. So like I know he's mostly out there to be a good lead blocker for the fast people, but those options are running thin. And so I think we're getting to Ingold season. Beyond that, yeah, you play all the obvious value. You play Achane, you jam Achane in the captain. I don't know about this. I don't like that much Tyreek Hill. I think it's much less likely he pops in the situation. Just hard to just think about a play design that Huntley is going to make Tyreek Hill pop, like a screen that really hits or something. I don't know. 10%, 10% seems really high. I don't really like even 10%. But anyway, yeah, fine with Pollard, fine with Spears, fine with them together, I think, on Showdown. Let me check. Yeah, I didn't put in any rules because I don't know what's going to go on in this showdown. It's a wild showdown. The first one's fun. I haven't Let me see what I think about the second one in a second. But I just think there's all sorts of options, ways to get different. Play a lot of Whyle, play a lot of Alec Ingold, uh, you know, and Julian Hill is in the mix even. Like he's a pretty solid value, 0.83%, possibly tight end one for this team. So I'm not limiting it to one tight end. Just pick as many as you want. Those are the best values on the slate. Don't play randos like Tyler Boyd, who's going to be infinity percent owned and get like 5 targets or something, and they're not good ones, and they'd rather throw it to a different guy. And it's not a good game script for him anyway, probably. Okay, so that's all I got for that first showdown. Second showdown, you can imagine number one. Yes, I have not run the contest sims. I was like, I don't remember doing all the stuff for this yet. So you'll get to see inside the machine for. Yeah, I fell asleep and forgot to do the end of this prep video for the video. But you have an idea how this is gonna go already. Projections, yes, we got a ton of Brock Wright, but I think he's actually high. He's much higher priced than I expected him to be. Yeah, so it's actually yeah, Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson's the guy that I feel like even before I boosted him, I could get to a little more. What kind of what's the targets looking like for Allen Robinson? I like it. He's fine. Wait, do I have his team right? I guess not. I thought that he was on that team, but is he on Seattle? No, he's on Detroit. Okay, well, he's not going to get a target, so don't play him. I don't know what's going on with that projecting him to get a target because he hasn't all year long. I'd much rather have Tim Patrick, who has gotten 2 targets a game for the last 2 games. Let me go to, I guess, figure out what's going on. Is he even getting snaps ever? No. Don't know what's going on. Don't play that guy. I can't confirm he for sure is in the game. If we know that Allen Robinson is for sure on the team, then we can play him. But I don't think I did. Oh, I did Seattle. Okay, Detroit was the one. Still, we got one snap. I don't know, guys. That's a lot. 50% snaps for Tim Patrick. What? We have not reflected that in Tim Patrick's expected points, from what I'm aware of. Good job on me accidentally cutting this to 1% Allen Robinson. Captain, we'll make that 0 now. Tim Patrick, though, what in the world? Like, we gotta check out what the projection is for him. He's out there 50% of snaps. Let's make sure Tim Patrick is respected in our lineups. Because yeah, he didn't catch any of those targets, but he did get 3 and then 1 target. So I think you can't ignore Tim Patrick as much as we are ignoring him right now. Yeah, that might be fine. Yeah, he's not out there that much. I don't want to force him. I'd rather have, defenses, Brock Wright. Jameson Williams is someone who like, well, let's look what's it? 9. That's not very many catches. How many we got? 3 catches for Jameson Williams. I'm a little bit higher on him than that. I'll probably put him up here. Yeah, he's got to be at least above Charbonnet. Yeah. He's definitely better than Laporta. Absolutely. Okay, easy one. Again, I haven't limited it to one of Gibbs or Montgomery. That is on purpose. I think they could both get there in a showdown type situation where they beat the pants off Seattle, which is totally within the range of outcomes today. Oh yes, but we are going pretty heavy. Yeah, I got 2 rules here. I was about to say I have to have my Charbonnet rule, and then I got Detroit tight end 1. So that's not playing Brock Wright and Laporta together. I really don't know. I think Laporta might be getting fully benched or hurt or something. I don't know what's going on with Laporta. Didn't like what I saw last week. Did not like his playing time. Did not like his snaps. Did not like his routes. Didn't like the way he looked. Didn't like the way nobody looked at him. All right, I don't want that much Charbonnet. 30%. What do you say? 35%. How much do I feel this feeling that Charbonnet goes off? It's not like super high, but he is the passing down back for the team that's playing from behind, so it's kind of a lot. And I don't know, 15% captain. Yeah, I want more than 50% Charbonnet. I know that's nuts, just because I see that you're not doing it. That's the only reason I know that's nuts. I think it's a pretty reasonable play otherwise. It's a 50-50 back, you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing with the 50? Everybody in the 50-50 backfield, they're like, the stronger one or the faster one. Just pick them both. Like, just do it. One of them in the higher, dollar ones that you expect, and then the one you don't is the leverage play. Just make sure everybody's the guy you want them to be. Like, don't pretend they're amazing plays. None of these are amazing. That's the thing that I don't really have any amazing plays. You know what I mean? I'm out here making the case for like Brock Wright and stuff and Charbonnet. And yeah, I think they're all fine, but like, that's mostly because you guys are making mistakes. You know what I mean? Like the pricing is mostly okay, except on that first showdown. On the first showdown, you can go to a much lower price. On this one, I don't think 45 is in play. I think we got to go higher. 48,000 to because there's none of these cheap captains are good. They're all bad. And I think you got to maybe actually I'm trying not to hard cap as much, but I'm going to cut out the full 50,000 because I think that's going to be super jammed, maybe too jammed. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we might be able to get with salary restriction a little bit more bang for our buck, just because jamming all your salary is more optimal. You know what I mean? So more people will do it than is optimal. That's the case that I'm making that kind of feels like a reach. Kind of feels like not learning the lesson from last time. So we're not doing it. We're not limiting our max. And we are going to rebuild with the rules we got and no additional rules. But that's all I'm going to say on screen. So I'll say, obviously, I'm limiting. This might be a little different. You probably won't have as many crazy captains for this game. Probably not as much Brock Wright, Charbonnet. Oh no, Charbonnet is expensive. Then we definitely will. And that explains why he's 0.1% owned. But still, it's a split backfield. You don't know what's going to happen. He could go mash again. And it's a reasonable odds that happens. So I'm going to bet on the 50% case where that happens. And if it doesn't, I will lose. And that's it. Who cares, right? I mean, like, in the case where I win a lot. In the case where I lose this much. The money I put in. So I don't care. I put in the money that I don't care about. And then when I win, I win. So remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money. Might as well be us.